up? You
All
are,
right.
whether you like it or not, you're with the Story Dads.
Coming back in hot after RoboCop. We
That's
are switching gears back to the usual and doing Beauty and the Beast today.
That's right. And is this the live action Beauty and the Beast or the animated Beauty and the Beast?
I mean, we're not doing live actions until we get. We've probably, if you've been with us, we've probably heard us make this joke before, but we're not doing live actions until this podcast is so popular. There is just a raging demand for it.
Yeah. If someone like absolutely holds our viewership over the fire and is like, you will do the live action. And most of that is not ideological or anything. It's just that I really have no desire to watch them whatsoever or to have my kids watch them.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, I've seen a handful of them, and they're like fine. I saw the live action Beauty and the Beast. It's okay. It's not.
it's
The
fine.
ideological stuff in it isn't. I'm not ruins the movie. It's just it's a lesser version of the actual story.
Yeah.
So like
Exactly. There has yet to be one that has added anything,
yeah.
or at least added. I guess they have added things, but that's added value. There has yet to be one that has transcended the message or the themes of the original. Like, if anything,
okay. If I want to steelman it, they've upgraded the like production value on some stuff. Like Will Smith's version of "Friend by Me," my kids like it more than the Robin Williams version.
oh really?
It's
I haven't even heard it.
It's a bit more of a pop song version. It kind of fits more like so. Like there's some stuff you could say like is an upgrade, but it's not like Will Smith doesn't hold a candle as a genie to Robin Williams. But anyway, we're not talking about that today.
Right. And Robin Williams does not hold a candle as a pop music performer to Will Smith. So that
I wouldn't cast Robin Williams as the fighter jet pilot in Independence Day.
No, never. Oddly, Will Smith would probably make a great Patch Adams.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember GoBots?
I don't know what that is. I've never heard that.
Okay, so when you went to the store to get a Transformer,
yeah,
and they were all out of Transformers, sometimes they had GoBots. GoBots were like the lesser incarnation of Transformers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like the live action movies are GoBots. Like, Mom, can we have Transformers? Like, can we have Lion King? Well, no, but we have real live action Lion King at home.
We have Lion King at home.
Yeah.
It's that meme. Yeah. So
okay.
So speaking of which, let's jump into Beauty and the Beast today. This has been one that I don't know. It's top 2, 3 Disney all time for me. It's an easy one to jump into. I think is incredibly deep and jumping back in with Disney Renaissance period in the 90s where it was just like I think the hottest streak of Disney's ever had with the just putting out great movies one after the other.
Yeah. Why is it top 3 for you?
I think the story, the fairy tale, it's the relationships between men and women is incredibly core. The message that it gives, it feels like the way Jordan Peterson talks about like, it's a fictional story, but it is true. This is how men and women interact and civilize each other and bring out the best in each other or bring out the worst in each other. And it's just a beautiful depiction of what that is. It's a tale as old as time. And the music is awesome. I think Beauty and the Beast is one of the top 2, 3 songs in the Disney canon for me. And it's what else?
And that's the Alan Menken, Tim Rice era, right?
Yeah.
Let me just fact check that to make sure I got it right, but I'm pretty sure I got it right.
Yeah,
don't
it's not
stop
Sondheim. It's great. The even when I watch it now, like the layers of complexity around it, the parallels you see between. I'll get into it in a spot later, but parallels between Gaston and the Beast and different depictions of masculinity and how Belle responds to each of them. And Belle's got her own journey with it throughout the whole story as well. And I don't know, it just got a bunch of cool moments where, like, even as, like, I'd say as a father, like, this is what I want to teach my kids about, like, how to be in a relationship with a woman, like, as a man, what it means to actually do that well. And it does a great job with it.
Yeah. And so again, I would like to say more about that. So you've got Gaston,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got the Beast,
Yeah.
and we've got like post, like suffering Beast, right? Because
Right.
like we don't meet the Beast was Gaston at some point,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
some version of
Well,
Gaston.
yeah. And even at the beginning of the story, he's still in kind of his angry, bitter,
Yeah,
like he's
different than he was when he was cursed.
sure,
Right?
yeah.
Because at first he was cursed because he was, selfish and judgmental
Yeah.
and arrogant.
Yep.
And so
the prince of his realm, everyone loves him. Everyone like held up on the pedestal like Gaston is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
think
he
it's cursed.
handsome and rich and pampered. And so in those ways, he's a little different than Gaston, because Gaston is not, rich or anything. And he's not, we don't like Gaston has his own series of, let's say masculine sins.
Yeah.
And in a way, like post curse, pre encountering Belle,
Yeah.
Beast is more like Gaston than he was when he was originally cursed.
In what way? Yeah, say more on that.
So like they're covered with hair. They are predatory.
Yeah.
They are ferocious. They're like if someone were going to apply the terms toxic masculinity,
Right.
You have Gaston, who is like leaning into it, and you have Beast, who is sort of damaged by it, shining from it.
Yeah.
And they both encounter Belle.
Yeah.
And Belle, of course, means beauty.
Sure. Yeah. And Gaston is getting into this piece of it. So like, Gaston, he's he as the villain versus Beast as the hero, but they're still kind of the same character, and they just they make different choices. They respond differently.
Yeah, they're totally
towards
foils
Belle
for each other.
Even to the way that like their community plays a pretty big role in each of their stories. Gaston is surrounded by a bunch of sycophants who kiss his ass and tell him he's the greatest all the time, and he eats it up, and they're his posse at the end where he goes to war with the Beast. And Beast is surrounded by what seemingly should be sycophants. They're his servants. They work for him. But they call him on his bullshit for the whole thing. Yeah. And then he has to he actually listens to them, and that it becomes the part of his transformation.
Yeah. And so what's interesting to me about that is that I brought it up before, and this idea that yes, on the surface, this is a love story. This is a man and a woman, or even an archetypal man and an archetypal woman coming together, and like this is a picture of what a lot of men and women coming together kind of looks like.
Yeah.
And also, I think one of my sort of theses is that the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together is the reflection of like the divinity, and that all of humanity, we are all the bride, and the divine masculine is the groom, and that these stories of coming together are all stories of just of reality being reconciled. And so since the Beast he's positioned in a place where he's cursed, like Adam is cursed, and his desire is to no longer be cursed.
Right.
and his desire, part of that curse being cured is the masculine feminine integrating and coming together and, knocking each other's rough edges off and finding, like you said, civilizing one another.
Yeah.
And just like in, the sort of, biblical scriptural canon, all of reality has been cursed with Adam, like with humanity. And so in a way that beasts
with the beast,
right, beast's household represents
under that curse.
Yes. All of creation groans under the curse. And so they all have a stake in this. They all are going, hey, it sure would be nice if Adam and Eve could get out of this curse, because then the lions and lambs could lie down at each other, like all the servants could also be restored to their place, like all of the lesser beings, if you're going to look at it in that sort of hierarchical sense. So
along those lines, how would you say, though, because Belle strikes me as she doesn't have a bunch of rough edges to knock off. She's more of a perseverance story to me. What's your take there?
Her story starts with, like, she's a total ingrate.
Okay.
Right? Like, she's got this loving father. She's got the most charming village imaginable. Everyone adores her. They give her free shit.
It's a town full of stupid people that I'm in that I gotta get out of here.
Look at all these ignorant fucks. Let me get the hell out of here. Like, there must be more than this provincial town. It's like, hey, your provincial town's pretty sweet, lady. And then what's awesome is she gets exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
And it's horrible and it terrifies her, right? And so I think
it's also part of her journey. Like, she does have to get out of the town. Like, but your point is, like, you could get out of the town, but you don't got to be as arrogant about it. You don't got to be and I think, again, this is where, like, the kind of surface view would be like, yeah, all of us girls need to get all of our provincial towns, like, girl boss it, Belle. And it's like, no, that's not really what happens. Like, it seems like that, but actually getting out of her provincial town ruins her life. Her father is imprisoned by a horrible monster. She's imprisoned by a horrible monster. She's like, she's not in a dungeon, but she's a captive. And she's like, now you have a part of this curse because you wanted, oh, really? You want more in this provincial town, huh? All right, buckle up. And what's great is that she gets the adventure that she thinks she wants, this wonderful romance that she's reading about, like, oh, he's secretly a prince. And it's like, well, here's what that magical romance really looks like. Yeah. It's covered with hair and teeth, and it rips things apart and eats them raw. Yeah. And so that's her arc, I think. Yeah, and I think that story arc is like, it's the young, naive, I long for adventure and something more than this. And then it's like, yeah, you're going to get it. And you're going to see how actually scary it is. But that's part of the maturing process. And like, no, there's actually real stakes to this stuff rather than just kind of this kind of naive take you have at the beginning. But it's also the case that, like, Belle she is elevated above everyone else in her town. And so it's not like, hey, let's go up and leave this, like, small town we're in. It's like only the most capable and competent should dare set out on that journey.
Yeah. And we see that she's unique. Everyone thinks that she's kind of an oddball for this world, you know? So it's not like she's I guess ingrate is a rather, like, strong thing to throw at her.
We're amplifying it a little bit, but it fits.
Yeah, I'm trying to ramp it up to see the quality going on. Is that there is, and look, like, arrogance. You spot it, you got it. Like, I'm arrogant as hell and ambitious as hell, and and it's it's that thing where your weakness is your strengths overplayed, and and again, to bring it back into the scriptural world, is like, I think it's, what is it? Is it James and John who ask Jesus, like, which one of them is going to be greater in the kingdom?
Who's going to sit
And
on your right, left hand?
yeah, and he kind of says like, you're going to find out what it's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they do
Yeah.
find out what it's like,
Yeah.
and they live up to it.
Right.
And it also kills them, but it
Yeah.
kills them in such a way that they have
Yeah.
lived up to it. And so,
Right.
in that moment, I've always heard it taught in terms of like a lesson to sort of, don't be arrogant. And I would say, no, actually, do be arrogant in submission to a cause and a purpose. And so
Yeah.
I think, Belle. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
it's just so many of these. I would say some of the top tier Disney stories have that theme. Think of Little Mermaid. Ariel is totally arrogant.
Totally.
She can go have this journey, but also like you have to go on that journey, and her arrogance.
Yes.
Her arrogance is the thing that thrusts her naively on this journey, and it's not a bad thing. Like that's not like her like. It's not. Yeah, she's not being bad about that. Lion King, same thing. Beauty and the Beast, the same thing. I'm sure there's a ton of other examples.
Yeah. Okay, so go to, let's talk about like so Ariel and Triton. And we're not doing the Little Mermaid right now, but like so the father in Little Mermaid is and the ingratitude, whether warranted or not, in Little Mermaid is different than the father in this, and the ingratitude warranted or not in this. So her father in this one is not overbearing.
Yep.
He's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
If anything, he maybe spoils her or indulges her.
Well, it's kind of, I kind of see he's kind of eccentric and doesn't really pay attention. He's wrapped up in his inventions of what she's doing, and Belle's fine, and everyone in town loves her, and she's reading her books, and she'll be good, right?
Yeah. And like, Myers-Briggs would be like, Triton is more like an SJ, rule keeper, dominant, like guardian type.
Yeah.
Like a very traditional authority figure. And then her dad is more the NT, like tinkerer, absent. He's the absent-minded professor.
Yeah.
But he like indulges her. And and
but
so
I think they still fall under the umbrella of like, this is your town you grew up in, this is your society, this is your home, right? And then it's the naivety and arrogance to leave your home for something greater, not knowing the mess that's going to cause.
Yeah, and so her whole thing is like, there's got to be more than this. I want more than this, and so great. Let's see, what does more than this cost? And so what we find out is that she has to overcome fear, and she sacrifices herself for her father. What is that about? Why is he is because the proper order is for a father to sacrifice themselves.
Well, it's interesting. Her loyalty to her father is the thing that leads her to the beast, which that's an interesting. That's not a traditional princess story take.
So she demonstrates virtue.
Yeah.
Right. So she demonstrates this self-sacrificial love for her father.
She gives up her place. She says, "Take me captive and let him go."
Yeah, and so that's interesting in that that's an inversion of what I think a good father.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I think her father abdicates a lot of his fatherness, and he's a liability. He's not an asset.
Yeah. He's not. My dad's going to protect me at all costs. He was always my protector.
Right.
He's kind of the bumbling. She's taking care of dad for sure.
And so, really, this is starting to be more like Beauty and Numerous Beasts, right? So there's the beast of her father. He's this sort of impish, impotent, weak, cringing little thing. And then there's the beast.
It works in the story because she doesn't have like a model of masculinity to model herself to model her mate choice after.
Yeah. And and absent, I would say absent the potential to be everything that you want to be for
Yeah.
the beauty in your own life,
Yeah.
masculinity is going to go errant.
Right. Right.
And uh, Chris Rock, I think it was Chris Rock, like years and years ago, he had a bit about how like men don't want nice houses and fast cars. Women want men
Yeah. Yeah.
with
Yeah. Yeah.
fast cars and nice
Yeah.
houses. He's like,
Yeah.
men would just like play Nintendo in a cardboard box if there weren't
Yeah.
women. And so the polarity that men and women pull on each other, which is demonstrated throughout Beauty and the Beast, is that
Mm-hmm.
they do civilize one another. Like her
Yeah.
naivety, her naivety is broken on contact with the beast.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That I feel more clear on that. There was initial question: where does Belle's rough edges get knocked off? She becomes, I'd say, more mature in the process and kind of breaks out of the naivety around like, oh, I'm gonna go have this kind of big adventure, you know?
And the edges get broken off of her idea of what constitutes um, a romantic partner, because she, in that montage where he like feeds the bird and like
Yeah. Yeah.
and she like hides behind the tree and there's a song and she's realizing like um, there's a lovable human
Yeah.
inside there.
Yeah.
And
But okay, because I got a note on that. So
yeah,
like part of their relationship coming together is they're falling in love. They there's all this tension. They hate each other at first because you're
hmm
the asshole who took me captive and kidnapped my father and all that, right? So the series of events that leads up to them starting to fall in love, he lets her go, but he kind of kicks her out of the castle, and then she runs away, is attacked by wolves, and then he's got to use his masculine brute strength to come kick the wolf's ass to actually protect her. And then she's like, so he's got to channel that beast energy towards the good, towards something positive, and then she starts seeing something in there. He's not just some brute who's throwing his strength around. Now she sees like he can channel that, and then she wants to take care of him, and then they do something there that wasn't there before. He gifts her the library. He starts attuning to the things she actually likes and is interested in. And then, they have the big dinner, the Beauty and the Beast, the ballroom
yeah,
scene. Um, but then after that, which is kind of like their culmination of them falling in love, he lets her go again because she sees she wants to go back and take care of her dad again.
yeah,
And he does a sacrificial act because he knows like the rose is almost out by that point, and this is his last chance to do it, but he lets her go.
yeah, yeah. So in the he sort of, it's like she gets driven out. His rage and his fury
Mm-hmm.
is so much that she can't
Yeah.
even keep her word anymore. So she
Yeah.
violates her promise to get away from
Mm-hmm.
him. And we know, or at least we sense, that she's got some kind of ethic, except
Yeah.
that she also breaks her promise to not go into or she breaks the edict not to go into
Don't go into the West Wing. Yeah, yeah. No, she's
in the
not.
West.
She's not just a tacit rule follower or whatever you tell me to do.
Right.
Type of
And
deal.
so
Yeah.
it reminds me of As Good as It Gets, when
Mm.
she asks him, like, how do you write women so well? And he goes, I think of a man and I take away reason and accountability. And
Okay.
so Belle is like totally unaccountable. She gives her word and then goes back on it numerous times and just does whatever she wants. But so the beast is so terrifying, she flees. Like she
Yeah.
casts abandon to her promises and her vows and runs out into the woods. And so what happens to someone who casts off all of their accountability and their vows? Um, they get attacked by wolves.
Mm.
There's a tumultuous, dangerous world out there,
Yeah.
and throwing yourself recklessly into it you're prone to being swarmed. And there's some commentary in there, I think, about like civilization and
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
security comes from.
Well, you
And that,
leave the walls of the castle where you're
yeah,
protected, even though you're in this
yeah,
like dysfunctional, tyrannical system.
yeah,
You're out in the wilderness, surrounded by wolves.
yeah. And you can only girl boss yourself so far in the
Right.
face of a pack of wolves, and take that metaphor wherever on earth you want. But
Yeah.
what we see is Beast brings the fullness of
Yeah.
his his awfulness, and
Yeah.
what that really means, like
Yeah.
full of awe in his
Yeah.
strength, his ferocity, his temper, and directs it
Yeah.
with righteous fury at
Yeah.
these scavengers that are going to tear apart his bride, and it
Yeah.
just destroys them.
Yeah.
And so it takes that naive place of like, there is no place in the world for this kind of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, oh, that's the place in this world.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
goes, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, that's the start of them starting to fall in love.
And then
Like,
she
that's where
rescues
that
him.
begins. Yeah.
And then the thing, and I was talking to my mom about this yesterday.
Yeah.
They go back. She's nursing his wounds, right? Nothing is going to help a man recover faster than a beautiful woman taking care of them. And like in World War II, when
Yeah.
humanity's future was at stake, having women care for these boys probably saved, hundreds and thousands of lives over having some crotchety old man doctor around. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
and so, and that is not to trivialize and go like, just bring cute girls around. It's to say like beauty with capital
Yeah,
B in
yeah,
the
yeah.
world
Yeah.
has self-evident value and
Yeah.
merit. And so she's
Yeah,
there. She's caring for him.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say it's kind of the opposite. It's don't underestimate the power that actually can have, because it's not just like,
Yes.
all right, it's not in a shallow throw hot girls at the guys and they'll feel better.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
This
kind of the
isn't like
opposite
the
of that.
male gaze. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
no, that beauty might save your life,
Yeah,
and and beauty has value, has its merit on its own recognizance. Like it needs no justification. And
yeah,
and in that moment, this is the first time they have a tete-a-tete where
yeah,
if you hadn't done this, well, if you hadn't done this, and they have their
Yeah.
first little like lovers quarrel instead of a fight. And so I was talking to my mom about this. There's a scene in Handmaid's Tale where Joseph Fiennes, I think it's Joseph Fiennes, right? And where he gives someone a spanking, right? And
Okay.
so in the episode, and that show, I got plenty of commentary on how heavy-handed and like enough slow motion already. Didn't love that show, but anyway, we were watching it, and so he spanks one of the characters, and in front of other people, and like just belts the hell out of her, and I was like, I was watching it going, that would have been a more nuanced and interesting scene to me if he had just kind of like humiliated her. If it was more about like, let me just bend you over and spank you in front of everyone because I can, and I don't need to belt you. I can just like, it's humiliating to be spanked when you're an adult. And so I was watching with my wife, and she goes, oh no, it's all about like the power of that scene was in the fact that he like beat her. And I was like, that's so interesting because for a male,
yeah.
humiliation,
Your fear isn't the pain. Your fear is the humiliation. That's
right.
Yeah.
And for the female, the fear is the pain, not the humiliation. And I went, oh, well, that is probably because men are more familiar with violence and pain in that way, and that women are more familiar with humiliation. And so the asymmetry of that relationship is what makes it so that the beast will sit there and get chastised by Belle after she's already fled. She already broke into the West Wing. She already did all this stuff, and he will be cowed by her effectively and easily if she'll just stand up to him. and of course we see that play out all over the world, and so amazingly done in that scene. Like, what a great scene that is. And it's so obvious when you're watching it that that is the turning point of the movie, is that she puts him in his place.
Yep.
And he allows it.
Yeah.
And it's justified. And then everything, all of the imbalances go clink and they balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, there's a reciprocal relationship here, and it's asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to struggle to get there, and then their love story unfolds. When I briefly reviewed it, the scene where he shows her the library, he's attuned to her. He's attuned to what she wants. He's not just focusing on himself and what he can get out of her. It's like, how can I pour out myself and my resources and the things I have for this actual person? And they start this like reciprocal relationship in that way.
And it's nesting, right? It's that like courtship where you show the bowerbird or whatever is like, look at this awesome thing. Like you can be in this nest with me.
Yeah. Well, and the animators do a great job, because like Beast like he's up to that point he's all been super tough, and after that he's kind of got that like adolescent like, hey, this is cool, right? Like, do you like this? Like he's got a smile,
his hands get more animated,
Well, like he seems younger and more youthful. He's not tough and all that, right? It brings out that side of him. No, it's great. And then I think the title song, the Beauty and the Beast one, still, I don't know, where does that one rank for you in the whole Disney process? I think it's
in the whole thing,
top. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to be up there. Like it's one of those where you're like, when you're at Disneyland and you're walking down Main Street and it plays, like, I mean, it just says that era of Disney clearly.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And it the performance being sung by the grandma, the old generation singing it just, everything about it clicks.
Now, how old was Miss Potts when she had Chip?
I don't know. There's always why is the 6-year-old, I don't know. Is that really her kid? Did she adopt him?
Yeah, maybe like Chip's adopted or something. But who was shacking up with Mrs. Potts 6 years ago?
Yeah. Well, because at the end when they all turn back, like Belle's dad starts like flirting with her.
Yeah.
There's like, okay, something weird. So, all right, if we're gonna do this, so if they get together, that means Chip is Belle's stepdad now.
No,
because they're not related.
Stepbrother.
They're not related. Stepbrother. Yeah. Nah, okay, that works.
So what? So then, Gaston.
Well, okay, so she goes back. Then Gaston gets the whole town riled up that like, hey, there's this beast out there, because he finds the mirror and he shows the town that like
he brings his household and his kingdom against Beast's household, Beast's kingdom.
Yeah. And then they go to war. Beast at that point is super depressed because he's resigned to the fact he's going to be there forever. He's lost Belle. She's never going to want him if he's Beast anyway, and she's had to go back. So he like, it's there's the whole thing where all the townspeople and then all the furniture servants go to war in a kind of funny scene. And then Beast has to get over his depression to be able to fight Gaston.
Yeah. And the thing that brings him out of it is that Bella's returned. Like when he looks down and sees her riding up, he's like, oh, maybe there is a point to living after all. Like I can't just let this go down this way. And he, unleashes the full strength of his ferocity until Belle is on the balcony there, and then he curbs it. He doesn't like he shows the restraint that that being civilized and in a relationship with a woman demands of a man is to restrain the fullness of your ferocity.
Right.
And
Right.
so he demonstrates that, and then in classic, in that great era of Disney where villains died horribly, um, Gaston is cast into the pit.
Okay, and so our villain comeuppance thing. So
Yeah,
Gaston stabs Beast, and then they both go to fall off. They're both about to fall off the roof, and Belle catches the Beast. So
yeah,
the thing that saves Beast is he's won the heart of Belle, and
yeah,
Belle wants nothing to do with Gaston, and so despite all Gaston's masculinity and arrogance and all that, he's got no
yeah,
one there to protect him when he needs to, and he falls to his death.
yeah, yeah. He's sought to conquer and take
Mm-hmm.
and conquest,
Yeah.
and so all of those, rather than choose to woo and choose to integrate, he's sought
Or
conquest.
cha- improve himself, change himself in order better himself for someone else. He just has tried to shove everyone into his life, which he was
Right.
doing. He's trying to force Belle to marry him at the beginning, and then at the end, when his feet fail him, he falls off the roof. No one's there to catch him
Yeah.
or want anything to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, he plummets into the pit, and of course, the whole idea being that to steal from the Hunchback of Notre Dame song is what makes a monster and what makes a man is
Mm,
the beast, as monstrous as he is more of a man, and
yeah,
Gaston is more of a monster, and
yeah,
so the actual beast, the actual animal, gets cast into the pit. Um, he gives way to his monstrous nature in a way that Beast fought against his monstrous nature,
right.
and gets restored into a big hunky blonde Frenchman. And
What's your take on that? Everyone says I like the Beast better when he was the Beast, not a
yeah, it's funny like
blonde
that.
French guy.
I think that the thing is the intensity of that, like, look up, like it's like whoa, like your model, it's like the camera's running, and they're like, give it to
So
me, and he
yeah,
like
yeah,
boom hits the lens, and you're like, whoa,
little
come on, strong buddy.
little blue steel action there.
Yeah, he
Love his
totally gives
writer.
them the blue steel, and
Yeah,
but
but
what's
I think
neat,
what they're going for is the eyes, right? Because it's like that's Beast's
exactly,
eyes, so
yeah,
that's how she recognizes him.
yeah.
But
Which is what's great when she's wandering through the West Wing, and
yeah,
she, not to be confused with where Martin Sheen lives, but she like, lifts up the corner of that destroyed painting and sees the
yeah,
eyes, doesn't see the rest
yeah,
of it. And it isn't like she doesn't trust this, hunky blonde guy.
yeah,
And she has to draw near and find in his eyes the creature that she fell in love with.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
um, and, uh, so what I like about it is like that animation of a hand. As an artist,
yeah,
hands are
yeah, yeah,
really hard, and then you're also gonna move it and transform it
yeah.
from a paw into a
Sure.
hand with and
Yeah.
then the feet are really hard. So I feel like the animators were like, step aside,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
we're the best in the world, in case anyone was wondering. And
Yeah.
so like that beautiful stuff, his hands and his feet. Uh, and where is there symbolism in that? Like the hands and feet of Christ is what comes to mind, and
Yeah.
this idea that maybe there's something uniquely human about our hands and our feet.
Yeah.
He has these divine hands
It's
and feet.
there's a soul to it rather than just like he's transcended the brutish beast form and now he is a man. He is a
Yeah,
human.
yeah. And so the hands and feet are so specifically human and divine, and they're at the extremity. So you kind of go like, all right, well, everything between probably got transformed
Well,
too.
there's something you could do
And
with him too. Like it's useful. He's capable. He's competent. He's not just a pretty guy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that I think is something there.
And they're bare. Like he doesn't come back all dressed up and everything. Like
Yeah, yeah.
his journey. He's walked a mile in someone else's shoes, right? So
Mm.
after this transformation, he comes out. He's, you know, barefoot and barehanded,
Hmm.
and the path that he's walked is still the one that he carries.
Yeah.
And total side note, he does look like a French guy. Like
Yeah.
the way they did his, the kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like heavy lips and like the
Yeah.
pronounced nose and chin, or like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I buy that you're like French nobility.
Yeah.
Like I get
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, even all the character stylings of the rest of
Yeah.
the servants of Lumiere, Cogsworth, all them, like yeah, like, you guys are French aristocrats. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't just like, oh, just make him like the handsomest guy you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
think
yeah,
of.
yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
my dog. Um,
Oh, good.
and like they made him look like he belongs in that geography, I think. But
Yeah,
hang on.
yeah. No, yeah, you're good.
Hey, buddy. Good boy.
Yeah, when they all come together at the end, it's because he the beast. He's the beast.
Brought you in so you can stop barking. Yeah, let's bring the beast into
the beast transforms.
podcast.
They have their wedding, and then the two worlds are united. So I don't know if it's a wedding or they're just dancing or whatever, but like all the townspeople are there in the ballroom with all the servants, and now their worlds have integrated with each other, whereas they were at war with each other 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. And so, not only does Beauty and the Beast come together, but like you said, Dad and Miss Potts come together,
Yeah.
and Lumiere and
Oh yeah, the feather duster girl.
what's her name? I forget. They come together, right? So there's this sort of like, we're
Speaking
all
of other forms of masculinity, Lumiere's a dog, man. He's one who you don't want to let him near your daughter. Right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's but he like has some kind of chivalry,
No, for
right?
sure.
Like,
No, definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
He's a smooth operator for sure. And and he cares about he's like all the other servants, pouring into and trying to help civilize the beast and bring that side out of him. He doesn't seem to quite have his own sexual appetite handled, but
Well, and when the feather duster is being assaulted by Gaston's crew, he comes to save the day. Like he flies in to rescue her and like casts all abandon to the wind.
Right.
So he may have rapacious appetite, but he's also got some heroism and
right.
So yeah, there's like but there's a sense of like all of the world is repaired when the masculine and feminine integrate and make peace with one another, and such it is in our lives. Like when our parents, when mom and dad are kissing, and you go, yuck, but also
but
all the
you
world,
feel the most secure you ever have in your family when you see that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
All the world is right when the great spiritual mom and the great spiritual dad are like getting along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's Beauty and the Beast. Like what else is there to be said about it?
I mean, I think that's it. It's very like deep concepts, and it's not just like, so the idea, I think Beauty and the Beast applies to more than just like men and women and how they interact. It's masculinity and femininity and these different aspects and how they're both so important and we need each other. And it's a good art is good storytelling. It's a reflection on reality, and the story is true in that sense of this is how the reality works, rather than just like, hey, here's a story that's compelling. It's because it feels, there's a gravity to it. It feels like more than just a love story. Like it's on a different level of like your favorite rom-com of two kind of quirky characters kind of falling in love. There's like it's higher up Jacob's ladder on that one.
Yeah, it's great. And it is, it's both prescriptive and descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it's Wally. Like it's the underlying character of almost every romantic comedy.
Yeah.
It's Knocked Up, right? Rogan's just totally this misshapen beast.
Yep.
and
Yep.
he has been somehow locked into this,
Relationship with Katherine Heigl.
this
Yeah.
castle
Yeah.
of, this gestational
Yeah.
castle with
Yeah.
this unbelievable beauty, and they
Yeah.
have to knock the edges off of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They
Um,
uh it's a little bit more on the nose. She's Out of My League, the Jay
yeah,
Baruchel movie. Like
yeah,
they quote Beauty and the Beast in it because it's
yeah,
tale as old as time,
because
right? Uh,
yeah,
but of him of it doesn't feel like another iteration or retelling of that story though. Like this Disney one in particular, like it feels higher up the chain. It's more archetypal.
yeah,
It's more like
yeah,
these characters are there's a gravity to them.
yeah, and the decision to make it a musical.
Hmm.
On the one hand, you could think, well, it wasn't a decision because they're all musicals, and so that was a foregone conclusion. But it's still the way it showed up. Like it still made its way to the screen as a musical, and not all Disney films are musicals. Is there's something, and this goes out through literature as well. Like there's something about Belle, like you're saying, is more archetypal. Not only is she beautiful, not only is she devoted to her father, not only is she intellectually curious and well read and cultured, but she can also sing. Like she has these amazing,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, like so she brings everything that
Yeah.
is cultured and beautiful
Yeah.
with her as an archetype. And like there's
Mm-hmm.
a reason why you read like Jane Austen and to and as they would try to socialize these truly civilized, like wonderful, these great women, they
Mm-hmm.
would pour into them the humanities and music and drawing and all these things.
Yeah.
And uh and the Greeks, like the muses, were all women. Like
Yeah.
everything that was an abstract quality possessed by civilization was
Yeah.
portrayed in the feminine in classical art and culture and
Yeah.
literature. And so the muses, culture, philosophy, like all these things, justice, even like all of these things are come in this feminine, vessel, like delivery device.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, Belle is truly archetypal in that, like, if she didn't sing, would it be as archetypal if this wasn't a musical?
Yeah. 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 Well, no, I think that's right. It's interesting too because she, like, we brought up like that movie. She's Out of My League, right? So the I forget the character's name, but the woman in that, she's everything. She's a supermodel. She's super high performing in everything she does, right? Um, and maybe the whole point of that is just like it's such a stark contrast. Of like Jay Baruchel, really? Like that's that. Yeah, that's the point. Is like you're supposed to have that reaction, but she doesn't have that archetypal feel. She just has like she's doing like perfect woman character, but like it's within a very specific world at a specific time. This feels like it's all those things, but it's in a castle and it's this fairy tale type story. And it's also not that everyone is like, wow, she's the hottest, most intimidating person. It's like, yeah, she's kind of weird. It's like there's something they don't
Yeah,
really get about her.
yeah,
Anyway, that's a whole other rabbit hole there.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, this was we kind of mentioned at the beginning, like I think right in that middle of Disney Renaissance where like some of the best ones were coming out. Is this so of those, what would you put in that category, that time period? Little Mermaid in there?
yeah. This is in
Little
the Little
Mermaid,
Mermaid era
Little
because
Mermaid, Beauty
it's
and the Beast, Lion King,
yeah, Aladdin.
Aladdin. Pocahontas is in there. I don't know if that doesn't feel on the same tier as those. Hunchback. That's kind of
Yeah,
back
Pocahontas and
into
Hunchback were in that era, but I don't
yeah,
feel like they're on the same tier. Even though I
yeah,
love Hunchback, I really like Pocahontas too.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but they get overlooked. I think partially they get overlooked for political reasons. Like
Okay.
I think I don't think you can in the modern or not modern, but even like just the current thing. Like you can't go back and look at Pocahontas with the way dialogue around Indigenous peoples has
Yeah,
rolled
yeah.
out since
But
then.
even when it came out, it didn't feel much of a cultural moment as some of these other ones
No,
did.
yeah. Well, and it wasn't like Pocahontas is not a fairy tale.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an actual story, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was a little bit shoehorned into a fairy tale because even the historical
Hmm.
uh, elements are pretty well fudged. And then Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think it's like overtly Christian,
Yeah.
so like you can't have that in the political moment, and also Victor Hugo, like it's pretty dark and pretty gnarly, and like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like very sexual. Like I really like that movie. I think they did an
Hmm.
amazing film,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
amazed that they even took it on, and they
Yeah.
did not flinch from the themes
Totally.
of the story. And
That okay,
so,
that time period, they like a lot of the kids' movies, they didn't flinch from like some of the dark stuff that was in there. It's not Disney, but I
yeah,
just watched Prince of Egypt with my kids. They were like disturbed at the beginning when they're like killing all
hell
the
yeah,
kids and
dude,
they got put no in the back. Like they were like crying and upset, and I was like, I didn't
yeah,
think that this would be a thing at
yeah,
all. Like, and they loved the
yeah.
movie, but it was a moment where they were like shaken from it.
Well, they didn't flinch from "Let's kill the firstborn,"
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
uh, and he has that like, we're not doing that. We should do the Prince of Egypt at some point. Like, I
yeah,
do. I
yeah.
was gonna say, at some point, as the story dads, we don't have to be limited to Disney. We can
Yeah,
just
no,
do all
we're
the
not
kids
we're not a
movies.
Disney specific
But
show. That's just
yeah,
starting point.
yeah,
But yeah,
but yeah. So Beauty and the Beast was in that like era where Disney could do no wrong.
yeah,
They were knocking it out of the park consistently.
yeah,
Uh, Everyone was looking forward to every release. I don't know about you, but it was that era where it's like when Disney comes out with a new movie, you go see
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
It,
yeah,
it just one of the things you fit into your calendar in your life. And
yeah. And when you say do no wrong, it's not just like, hey, everyone, we have this weird fealty to Disney. It was like, um, if anyone watched the gold medal game in the Olympics, Steph Curry just like could not miss. Just every shot he
right,
was throwing up from like however far back was just like unbelievably going in. And like in that streak, Disney was on a heater with that, where it's just like everything they're doing is like, okay, you don't want to miss this because it's
yeah,
all like they're not perfect, but like it's pretty damn good game.
they were living in the same world that Pixar was living in for its like first 5 or 6 movies that came out,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like this is just the new standard for movies, and
yeah, yeah.
and part of it I think is they were functioning very exclusively out of that Bible of the hero's journey. Like
Hmm.
I forget the name of the guy, the author, and he took um, the hero of a thousand faces, and
Oh,
he
Joseph Campbell.
let's say Joseph Campbell, but there's this guy who wrote the hero's
Oh,
journey,
oh yeah, yeah.
which started, if I remember correctly, it started as a pamphlet that was
Mm.
internally circulated at Disney, where he took the
Oh
hero
yeah.
of a thousand faces and sort of digested it into this pamphlet. This pamphlet became their manual. The manual became
Hmm.
the book, and then like they had codified um, how to tell a structured story, and they
Yeah,
did. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Well, that's Beauty and the
that's
Beast.
Beauty and the
I don't know.
Beast.
I feel like we did a deep dive on some stuff here. I hope there's some interesting stuff there. What are we doing next?
Next up, I think we talked about Zootopia.
Oh, we're gonna fight on this one, Micah.
Yeah, we'll fight on this one. Which
I think we have some different takes on that, which I think will make for something interesting.
yeah, let's go. We might both be correct about it. 'Cause
Maybe.
I feel like it's a little bit of a schizophrenic movie, but anyway, we won't get into it. We'll talk about it next
Okay.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Well, thanks, Micah. Fun stuff.
yeah, man. Take care, dude.
Bye, everyone.